And that's how the Craigie crumbles. Once again, Craig crumbles down the stretch, and at this point, you just can't have him in there in one-run games, especially when you have the ghost runner, the zombie runner, the Manfred runner, whatever you call it, on second base in a one-run game. That's just a recipe for disaster, and we're going to talk about the latest Craig crumble, collapse, and everything that went on this game. Now, it was a lot of BS in this one for Craig Kimbrel, and look, what this really does is it really puts the Dodgers in a position where they're going to have to explore the idea of a new closer, because just imagine Craig crumble out there in big spots in the postseason with the game on the line against the Mets or the Braves or all these big teams out there that they could be facing. Look, our heart rates can't take that, okay? There's not enough alcohol in Los Angeles that can remedy that situation, but I want all your thoughts and takes on Craig Kimbrel. Who do you want to see as the Dodgers closer? And I'm also looking for that comment of the night. If I get that fire take from you guys, you know you're going to see one of these.
Fire take.
If I get that comment of the night, you're going to see one of these. So definitely we are looking for that. And if you look at that inning as a whole, I mean, it was a lot of BS. Like I said, I mean, he's got the bunt. And how about the defense in that inning? Yeah, Max Muncy behind the bag at third base. And you saw what happened in that situation to begin with. I mean, he was really a bad defensive alignment for the Dodgers right there, especially in a one-run game with the tying run at second. You see Renfroe, he realized that immediately, and he bunted on the first pitch, was able to reach, and then he did strike out Wong on a 3-2 pitch, comes back, he strikes him out with that four-seam fastball. That was a big out. And then really the killer, though, the backbreaker, was the walk to Urias. The walk to Urias where he falls down the count 2-1, then he gets him to foul one off, makes it 2-2, and then he misses badly with that four-seam fastball. And what that does is you put Renfroe as the winning runner there on second, and not a great throw by Mookie Betts. A little bloop single there to Carantini on the 2-2 count, and just not a great throw by Mookie Betts, but still the base running, the lead that Renfroe had at second. You saw him right behind McCutchen. They're able to win this one, and the Dodgers, they take the loss, 80-35 now on the season. But here, I got a comment here. It says, I miss Jansen from Edgar Gentill over on Facebook. Does Craig Kimbrel make the postseason roster for you, Doug? I think we'll see how he performs. I mean, look, even though I did dub him Craig Kimbrel, and I probably can get that patent to make some shirts out of that, make some side money, I also think that, I have defended him. When you look at his BABIP and some of his strikeout numbers, there are some encouraging signs, but what have I always said is it's his inability to miss bats in big spots, and you saw that against hitters are getting the bat on the ball, and sometimes, yes, it is a bloop single. Sometimes, yes, they are just hits that they're not scorching the ball. I mean, the exit velocity is up on him this season, but still. And then, you talk about the bad base running by Joey Gallo in the 10th. That was definitely something that you want to have back. And, Chris Taylor, he made the catch of the year for the Dodgers in Milwaukee. Chris Taylor and making game-saving catches in Milwaukee. Name a better duo. Also hit the home run earlier in the game, which we'll get into. But really the big story tonight is Craig Kimbrel, because look, these are two of the top teams in the National League. This is a team they could be potentially facing in the postseason. Milwaukee, not the easiest place to play, and when the Brew Crew faces the Blue Crew, they have some pretty compelling games. And I think Craig Kimbrel at this point, what I always say is what must be done eventually should be done immediately. And I think at this point you're going to see that leash get a little shorter when it comes to Craig Kimbrel, and thankfully Blake Trinan is on the mend and he is on his way back. But here we go. What a freaking catch by CT3. That's from Duck over on YouTube. Anders, just need to, you guys are going lighting up the comment section. Help is coming, absolutely. You got reinforcements on the way. I miss Jansen from Edgar. We got Mr. Classic Dave Roberts didn't have enough. He already used a lot of pitchers yesterday, so he had to use Kimbrel. This is on Andrew Friedman. Gavin Lux, 4 strikeouts from Alfonso Lucio. If you look at the offense, you got to talk about Ryan Pepio's outing as well. Really, what continues to plague him is the home run on the year. Ryan Pepio really struggling to keep the ball in the yard. He ends up going 4 2/3 innings and 5 walks by Ryan Pepio. 5 walks, 6 strikeouts. And look, what does Oral Hershiser always say? You really need at least 600 innings from a pitcher to see what they're really about at the big league level. But at this point, it's very evident when it comes to Ryan Pepio, who, look, I want to see him with a little more Pepio in his Stepio out there and getting it done. But really, it's the walks and the home runs. The command just isn't there. What I always say, if you want to be the man, you have to have the command. 91 pitches, 56 for strikes for Ryan Pepio. And to me at this point, yeah, he just hasn't been able to turn the corner. And, hey, we know Bobby Miller's out there. Ryan Pepio, I think, is a guy that they, especially after the news about Danny Duffy and Walker Buehler, hey, I mean, let's see what we got in Bobby Miller. I know I've talked to some people when it comes to the 40-man roster. There's some people on this roster that they don't see as helping them in the postseason. So as long as you're not a prospect that they want to keep, if you're not going to be able to help them in the postseason, there's definitely space on this 40-man roster to get Bobby Miller an opportunity. Evan Phillips should be the closer from Cuyatone. Look, I mean, with Blake Trinan coming back, and I think it comes down to who is your high leverage reliever. Let's not forget about my man Yency Almonte, who is expected to be back. He's another guy that was an absolute revelation for the Dodgers this season. And I think, look, yes, you do want to maintain these high leverage relievers and put them in spots where the game could be won or lost, and that could be in the 6th or the 7th or the 8th. Not always the 9th inning, especially when it's a clean inning. And this one, it was an extra innings. But yeah, I think at this point, I mean, Craig Kimbrel, they've given him a big time runway. They've given him then the opportunity to be the closer of the Dodgers, and we know that's the role that he wants. But he just has not inspired much confidence out there. You just don't feel good when he is on the mound. When he's on the mound late in games, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't feel comfortable out there. I don't feel safe out there. I feel like I'm in the car with like a 15-year-old driver, and I'm like a driving instructor, and they're on their permit, and we're studying for their license test. No, I want to be in the car with my granddad or my grandma. I feel safe in that ride, right? I just don't feel safe with Craig Kimbrel out there on the mound late in games. And yeah, you can tell, I think there's a mental component too. He feels the vitriol of this fan base, and he knows that guys are on him on the internet, and there's a lot of no one has really embraced Craig Kimbrel. Pepio is not it. Yeah, that's from Edgar over on Facebook. Kimbrel is the best closer I've ever seen in a Dodgers uniform. Top tier closer. Glad we traded Pollock for him. Yeah, I mean, look, it was a situation where I think it was a big roll of the dice for the Dodgers, and they realized that it was going to take a little time to get. I think the interesting thing, too, is when you look at the deal that Kenley Jansen did sign with the Atlanta Braves, essentially the same contract, right? $16 million, 1-year deal, and then Craig Kimbrel had $16 million left in the final year of his contract. And yes, Craig Kimbrel, you make the case, he is one of the best closers of all time if you look at his numbers. But yeah, I mean, if you look at how he performed with the White Sox, he struggled mightily in that role, an ERA over 5, and then this year with the Dodgers heading into tonight, a 4.39 ERA in 41 innings pitched. And yes, the FIP is a big, drastic drop-off when it comes to his 2.46 FIP and his ERA, and the BABIP is still one of the highest in the league. But yeah, he's just not getting it done, period, point blank. There's really no other way around it. Craig has been crumbling for the Dodgers, and like I said, the numbers aren't as bad as kind of the fans feel. He does have 20 saves on the season, but it's just it almost feels like like I said, I've called it the Murphy's Law season for Craig Kimbrel. What can go wrong will go wrong, and that was more evidence of that tonight. It's just it's definitely a situation where, yeah, I mean, he's got tons of saves in his career, 392 to be exact, but tonight was not one of them. But here we go. We got Kimbrel is fine. No dude can't have a clean inning to save his life. Yeah, he's been absolutely allergic to clean innings all season. Has exactly 7 clean innings all year. He hasn't hit a batter. He hasn't allowed a hit. So yeah, that just goes to show when you're going out there with no runners on base and you're just expected to close out games, and it's always something with Craig Kimbrel, whether it's just a walk where he's pulling that curveball, where he's yanking that fastball, or he hits a batter, he gives up a bloop hit with 2 outs. It always is something with Craig Kimbrel. And like I said, it wasn't the best throw by Mookie Betts. The defense with Max Muncy playing behind third, it allowed Renfroe to lay down that bunt on the first pitch. So definitely that wasn't savvy. But so all in all, it was a team loss, but it's going to be magnified towards Craig Kimbrel. But Bigford for closer, Greg Gonzalez. Yeah, I thought Phil Bigford, who definitely has had his struggles this season, he definitely showed out tonight. Got to give Phil Bigford a lot of credit. DJ Phil Bigford, what is it? Dick Bigford? I don't know. I think I said something wrong just now. But Phil Bigford, yeah, I think kind of the issue with Phil Bigford, he's given up 8 bombs this season. So as long as he keeps in the man, I haven't seen Doug this mad. What is this? If I could only find a way to stop these comments. But hi, D-Mac. Hi, Diane Schroeder. Do D-Mac a solid and hit that like button. That's from Carnivorous Lunar Activity. Yeah, like I said, if you're new to the show, I'm the man of the fan. This is your show. I'm just hosting it. You guys call me the Human Hype Machine, here to get your takes and your thoughts and your perspective on all things Dodger baseball. And yeah, definitely mash that like button because, like I said, this is your show. I'm just hosting. It's our show, really. But here we go. We got Muncy, Gallo, and Kimbrel are responsible for this loss. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a team loss at the end of the day. I'll agree that bring back A.J. Pog, bring back Triumph from Edgar. Bob Nightingale, Crumble needs to chill on the cookies. We got Kevin, after I'm done pulling all my... Yeah, we got this comment section just messed up. Dude, we got just cut Kimbrel already. That's a little harsh. Wake up, Craig Weaklink Kimbrel. Interesting. Yeah, I think you could definitely make a strong case. That's a fire take right over there from Will W. over on YouTube. Got to give that fire take right there. Fire take. Definitely a fire take. And, yeah, you could definitely make a strong case that he is the weak link because the offense, they're getting it done, averaging over 5 runs per game. At the top at essentially every single offensive category, OPS, WRC+, the way they slug, the way they get on base, the way they don't chase pitches outside the zone. Jay Silva hooking up with $2. Kimbrel, Vesia, Bickford, one was due to blow it. That's from Jay Silva over on YouTube. You know that $2, $1 will go to my carne asada fries at a Modelo, and the rest will go to the Trey Turner Extension Fund. I want a refund on Kimbrel. When I saw Cardiac Kimbrel coming in, I knew we were in trouble. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the big fears were out there. You saw the GIF. Yeah, I saw the GIF of Clint pouring the alcohol. Everyone was pouring alcohol GIFs in. Yeah, you just did not feel good about it. I think that when Kimbrel's out there, it's almost like in the back of my mind, I hear the Jaws theme. It's like, dun-dun. And it doesn't just happen right away, right? It's like, dun-dun, walks a batter. Dun-dun, gives up a base hit. Dun-dun, hits a batter. Dun-dun, gives up a base hit, and they walk off. I mean, you just never know. In this case, it was a little different tonight. I mean, didn't have the HBP or anything like that. But Roberts doesn't have enough. You have to play again tomorrow. Who are you going to use, Mr. Classic? LLWC, D-Max, stats don't matter if you aren't delivering the W. I don't care how good you are. If you aren't winning, you aren't getting the job done. That's big facts from you, LLWC. And I agree 100%. At the end of the day, the eye test definitely says a lot with Craig Kimbrel. We've seen it again and again this season, his inability to go out there and get the job done. That is what he's responsible for at the end of the day. If you're a closer, you're supposed to close it out. And unfortunately, a Cardiac Craig DFA, Fire Roberts from Jonathan Nelson, DFA Kimbrel from Diane Schroeder. Yeah, you guys are going hard on Craig Kimbrel. And remember what we said a couple weeks ago when we talked about, I asked you guys, I was like, hey man, why doesn't he just go to the Edwin Diaz closer song? Maybe that would help his chances with the trumpet, the doo, 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 doo. Maybe that would help his chances. And we said, hey, what if he would to have a new closer song, a closer entrance song? And what do we talk about? Give It Away by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Songs like that, songs like what I said, the Oops I Did Again by Britney Spears. I mean, because he continues to blow saves. And, yeah, I mean, what do you guys think that Craig Kimbrel's new closer song should be? Because Guns N' Roses, obviously you don't hear the closer song on the road, but Guns N' Roses clearly isn't getting it done. And, yeah, it's just unfortunate because, yeah, I mean, when you look at the velocity, it's not like there's this massive drop-off. I mean, the peripherals are pretty consistent with how they were. Yes, there has been a dip in velocity to a degree, but they're still pretty consistent. You would expect him to be somewhat effective. Maybe he was one of those sticky stuff merchants because he did have a .49 ERA with the Cubs, and he did blame his lack of success with the White Sox on being the setup man for Hendricks. But there's just something that is not getting it. He's just not getting it done. And yeah, it's, if you look at his numbers too, I mean, before tonight, 20 and 20, 20 saves and 23 opportunities. So yeah, I mean, those 4 saves, blown saves are magnified. But when you consider how good this Dodgers team is, let's say this offense wasn't as good as they were, and they weren't coming through, and they weren't this big BWO, Blue World Order juggernaut offense, would he be in these tight situations where he's not coming through? So I think that's kind of the thing when it comes to Craig Kimbrel at the end of the day, is this offense has kind of bailed him out. I miss Jansen. We got a lot of you guys missing Kenley Jansen. Yeah, would you guys rather have Kenley than Carnivorous lunar activity. D-Mac, like Ron Burgundy, he'll read what's on the screen. Yeah, exactly, man. Sometimes I think that makes for good television or good stream. Edgar, great content, bro. Hey, I appreciate you guys, man. You guys are part of this whole thing. We're all in this together, man. Dodgers Nation. Yeah, you know what it is. The good thing about this show, guys, we can agree and disagree, but this is the real rough, rugged, and raw. This is the real fan takes out here. This is not sugar-coated like you'll hear on the radio. This is like the real pulse of Dodgers Nation. Evan Phillips needs to be the closer. That's from Brian Davis. Yeah, Evan Phillips has been an absolute monster. Dr. Filth has been just an absolute beast. He's been a revelation for the Dodgers, their biggest breakout, and he's just been balling all season long. But the issue is with Evan Phillips is if you do just use him in the ninth inning, you don't have him for the seventh or the eighth. There's some of those times during games when you're going to be facing the heart of the lineup. You're going to be facing the at-bats where you have runners on base, and that is when you want the fireman. Now, if you bring him in the ninth, it's going to be a clean inning most of the time. Maybe the game is already out of hand. So I think with Evan Phillips, the way the game has gone, everyone wants to focus on the closer's role. And yes, a 1.37 ERA this season, a .783 whip. Is he qualified to be the closer? Does he have the kind of stuff where he could get it done as the closer? Absolutely. But you have to consider that, especially in the postseason, it's increasingly becoming a battle of the bullpens. Starters are averaging just over 5 innings, 5 2/3 innings this year. So you are having to play the matchups throughout the game, and you definitely want to save a lot of your bullets. You don't want to empty the clip when at the end of the game when the game could already be lost at that point. But at this point, if Blake Trinan comes back and he's looking like Blake Trinan, the BTFD, Blake Trinan Fire Department, coming out there and extinguishing all these fires and the opposing team, then I think it's an interesting situation because especially Yency Almonte and Brusdar Graterol and some of these other guys that have that stuff, I do think it is something you're definitely going to have to consider because, look, not all guys can handle the ninth inning. But if you're going to do it, and I think the interesting thing for the Dodgers now is, yes, they have built this cushion, and they're in a great spot when it comes to their record around the league and the National League West. They're still up 17 games on the San Diego Padres. And the issue, though, is if you're going to give a guy a new role, do you really want that new role to take place in the postseason? To me, that's a little concerning because you want guys to feel comfortable in spots, and Evan Phillips is a guy that's really been dominant in his role. Do you really want to give him a new role just as late as the postseason? So the point I'm trying to make is if you're going to consider it, might as well just consider it now and try to mix things up because I think the Dodgers, they need to have an honest conversation with themselves when it comes to Craig Kimbrel. Now 4.57 ERA, a 1.55 whip, 56 punchies to 18 free passes. Like I said, the contact is the issue. Yes, if you focus on that strikeout rate, you'll see he'll strike out 2 batters an inning when he's pitching, but it's the contact, and yeah, it's definitely been just one of those seasons for Craig Kimbrel. Highway to Hell. So this is the answer to what should his new entrance song be. And you guys are brutal, but hey, man, this is Los Angeles, right? This is the Dodgers, a big market. Let out your frustrations, guys. I'll be your shoulder to cry on, but I will keep the sky from falling. But you say Highway to Hell for Craig Kimbrel's new song from Carnivorous Lunar Activity. We got Kimbrel should not close again. Give him the Sean song for Roy Estrada. Rika Kasuma. We got Dylan Hare. He had to have been. It could explain his control issues. No, that's kind of getting back to my point about the sticky stuff. Yeah, I mean, look, I hate to just, it kind of feels like this big catch-all thing, and sometimes, you could have like an Occam's razor situation. It's the most simple thing, but I think it's got to be more than that. I mean, to me, yeah, you just look at the play. Mookie had no chance of catching. He did field it on the hop, just wasn't able to get really much on the throw. He just airmailed the throw, and I wouldn't focus too much on Mookie's throw, really, because if you saw, look at the lead that Renfroe had on second base. And, Carantini, he's able to get that bloop single. But I miss KJ, Kenley, Jansen. I'd rather have effing Kenley, Jansen back. Joshua Ramirez, tell me how you really feel. Say it with your chest, my man, because I felt that one. That's a fire take. Phillips is closer and trying to high leverage. I think Boomer, trust me, I think Evan Phillips is a guy that it does feel To me, it really depends. I think in the next couple weeks, this will figure itself out when Blake Trinan comes back. Because if you've seen any of his highlights from his minor league appearances, the stuff is still there. It's still nasty. It still moves more than a military family, and the velo is there. And I could definitely see a situation where, look, this team, do you really think that they thought that Yancy Almonte and Evan Phillips would be breakout players? Probably not, but they both have, and they both shown they can go out there and they have that filthy stuff that plays up. We're talking about high velocity. Yancy Almonte's big adjustment was basically ditching that four-seam fastball altogether and going primarily with that sinker, that two-seamer, working in that slider. And you talk about Evan Phillips, his slider is absolutely wicked. It is just, it's some sorcery. I mean, it's like he engages in pitchcraft or something like that. His stuff is just straight up nasty. And then the other thing, too, is, look, Daniel Hudson, Huddy was the best high-leverage reliever at one point this season, and the loss of him was definitely felt very badly. So, I mean, it definitely was a very significant loss that's impacted his bullpen as well. But Kimbrel to AAA from Noah, can't do that, but put me in, coach. Rosemary Rodriguez, D-Mac greater than signed John Boy. Hey, I appreciate that. But look, John Boy's the man. Love me some John Boy. He's the GOAT, man. He's the GOAT for sure, but I appreciate you, my man. Mike M., how will the Dodgers win close playoff games? Mike M., that's always the big question, because as great as this offense has been all season long, just bludgeoning teams, just absolutely dominating their opponent when you see the offense getting going. Yes, they did get shut out on Sunday, and they've now lost two of 3 games. No. Yeah, so they've lost 2 of 3 games now. I guess that is the case, right? They lost Sunday, lost today, they won yesterday, but yeah, I mean, that game they had no hits. They've been shut out 5 times this season. But, yeah, this team more often than not can go up there and they can score runs. But you're not going to see that every game in the postseason. Just look at last year when they really had issues and they really looked outmatched at times going against the Braves bullpen late in that series, even against some of the starters. I mean, Max Fried seems to always shove against the Dodgers, right? So it's always tough. It's always tough to win close games in the postseason. That's really what it comes down to. A base hit there, here, a big hit there. A reliever coming in and getting those big outs in big situations and finding a way to just get those outs. But I think that when you look at this Dodgers team and how much success they've had, especially when they get a lead after the 6th inning, they're winning pretty much at an insane clip, over 95% this season. So it's interesting when you look at the numbers, because things are definitely going to change in the postseason. Look, Craig Kimbrel, if you look at 2018 in Boston, he took a big demotion there as well. So it's not outside the realm of possibility to see him take a massive demotion. I think that, look, if you want to take the silver lining approach and look at the positives, I like to look at the Mitch Lotta half full at times in these situations. And look, it's a good thing they're playing a game in Milwaukee against a team they could face in the postseason, and you saw there definitely was some electricity there. You saw 2 teams really battling, and when you consider the lead that the Dodgers have, to look at the catch that Chris Taylor made. I mean, look at some of these plays, the Chris Taylor home run, the Joey Gallo home run. This team was definitely there to play today, and I think that one of the positives is the fact that this is happening now, and this team really has to kind of regroup as far as evaluating their bullpen and trying to make a tough decision when it comes to the future of Craig Kimbrel when it comes to his role. But I think the fact that it's happening now before late September, even in the postseason, is definitely a good thing. But the other issue, too, is Craig Kimbrel. Look, I mean, if you're not going to use him as a closer, what role could he have on this team? And that'd be a big blow, because really this bullpen is designed to have those high leverage guys to lead up to Craig Kimbrel. That is how they built this bullpen. Andrew Friedman, Brandon Gomes, and the brain trust of this Dodgers organization. Bring back juicing. Interesting. You want that that Fernando Tatis Jr. stuff? Here we go. We got Can I Close? I'll Blow the Lead too. Yeah, shower. Craig Kimbrel, new song, Go Easy on Me by Adele. We got Better Call Jansen from JoJo Dancer. That sounds like a new show. Better Call Saul? No, Better Call Jansen. Interesting. Yeah, I think, and the crazy thing about it, look, I think Kenley Jansen, it's an interesting debate to have, especially when you consider the fact that they did trade away A.J. Pollock, a guy that was very popular within that Dodgers clubhouse. And there were times this season where it felt like, hey, the Dodgers could use another right-handed bat with some pop. Now, they have figured out the offense, And the offense is the best offense in baseball from top to bottom. I don't think there's any question about that. But, yeah, I mean, Kenley Jansen's the guy that it felt like the Dodgers were a little warm on, and they were kind of keeping that relationship up together until he did sign with the Braves, but they just didn't want to wait to kind of free up that salary to get Kenley Jansen. So I think that, yeah, it's looking back, I mean, that could be something that we could be talking about months ahead, where we look back and say, hey, what if the Dodgers had found a way to keep Kenley Jansen versus trading away A.J. Pollock to get Craig Kimbrel. I think the Dodgers thought that they were going to get a version of Craig Kimbrel that was closer to the guy that was in Chicago last season that had a .49 ERA and over 37 innings of work. And they thought that, hey, he just struggled in that setup man's role, and we're going to get closer Craig Kimbrel from the Cubs, and that just has not been the case. So, yeah, I think you could look back and say, hey, this could be a whiff by the Dodgers. And if you look at Craig Kimbrel, I'm sure you're pretty interested in his numbers. They're definitely better than Craig Kimbrel's, but he has 27 saves out of 27. He's saved 27. He has 27 saves and 31 opportunities. You compare that to Craig Kimbrel, 20 saves and 24 opportunities, a 3.25 ERA for Kenley Jansen. The strikeout numbers are definitely there. Opponents are hitting 191 against him. Craig Kimbrel, 265. So, yeah, I think Kenley Jansen, if you saw the way he pitched against the Braves last season, I think you definitely could make that case. But especially when you consider, too, if it was a one-year deal, he's going to try to get another bag. He'd be focused and dialed in. Bring back Game Over, Resin. Yeah, you guys want Eric Gagne back? Who do you guys think? I'm asking you straight up, point blank. Who should be the closer for the Dodgers? Give me one name. Who is that guy? We need Daniel Hudson. Oh, my God. Yeah, Mr. Classic. That torn ACL really hurt. Joseph Megazzini, day one here on the Dodgers Nation postgame show. What do you think about the AL getting an old extra day off? Yeah, man, I lost the comment. I got to figure out what these comments are busted. We got Carl. Let's go down here. Kimbrel's how most people thought Kenley was. Kimbrel is Cheeks from Chivas, Poor Lot 13. We got it has to be Phillips to close or Trinan from RCD. Gary A. Jansen got like 25 saves. Mays should be the closer. Yenlard 66. I think with the injury to Walker Buehler, Danny Duffy's not going to be coming back. I think there's no question. You definitely have to see what you can get from Dustin May as a starter. Yes, you still have Tyler Anderson and Tony Gonsolin that can fill that role, and I'm sure you'll see a combination of guys when they get their starts. And I can still see. I think we've all been waiting for the other shoe to drop when it comes to a regression with Tony Gonsolin and Tyler Anderson. But, hey, man, let's not forget, Major League pitchers, they used to pitch until their arms fell off, right? 250, 300-inning seasons, things like that. And I think that if you look at the work that Tony Gonsolin does at Driveline, I think the cat has become a lion this season. And I'm starting to believe that he's a guy that you want to see out there, and you're not going to worry about him as far as the innings count goes. I think Tyler Anderson with that filthy vertical movement on that changeup, if he goes out there and has that command, I still see that as well. So I still think with Dustin May, you might see him get a start, but it might be 4 innings, 5 innings. And also think that there is a piggybacking possibility with some of those guys. And we still know about the health of Clayton Kershaw. You've heard good things about him and that he's progressing well, playing catch, and that he's putting in the work. But we'll see how he holds up, because that's another big question mark as well. But here we go. Here is your picks for who you want to see as the Dodgers closer. We're going rapid fire. Let's do this. We got Phillips from Nicole over on Facebook. Blake the Snake. I like that. That's a fire take. We got Ari Swerdlow. We got Ari Swerdlow, Blake Trinan. We got Trace Gallo, Vargas, Miller time. We got Lompoc, Trinan. We got Taylor Rogers. Interesting. We got Phillips from Cali. We got D-Ross over on YouTube that says Blake. Phillips for closer. That's from my man Anthony Keene over on YouTube. Boomer Assassin, one name closer, Trinan Williams. We got anybody but Kimberly and Price. Gary, hey, man, David Price has really put in a lot of good work. He's put himself in a great spot, has David Price, but I think they have him envisioned as a multi-inning relief guy. Release Crumbles, that is from Francisco. We got Rebecca Miller or Phillips for closer. Dutch Atau over on YouTube. Phillips, closer. Blake Trinan from Sammy Wander. Cali Cats give up on Duffy already. Yeah, I mean, I don't even think Danny Duffy. To me, Danny Duffy is like a PS5. I've heard about them. I've heard how great they could possibly be. I've heard how much they could help, but I've never actually seen one. I don't know if they actually exist. I think that's also the case with Danny Duffy. Look, I've seen Danny Duffy more in a Lakers uniform, in a Kobe jersey, than I have in a Dodgers jersey. So, look, that is just almost funny. He's like the Bigfoot of Dodger baseball. We just have never seen him. We've heard about him. But no Kimbrel, no cry. I like that, Mitch Master. That's a fire take. Tony the Tiger, Eye of the Tiger from Curse over on Facebook. I bring my eyes to the fight. He sucks. I like that. I see what you did right there, Blue Magic. That is in reference. I bring my facts to the fight. You bring your eyes to the fight. I respect that. That's a fire take. Go Dodgers. Pepio overrated. Dick Patton over on YouTube. I think it's... Look, like I said, you don't want to judge a guy too early in his career, and Ryan Pepio still needs a lot of seasoning. He absolutely does. And I thought that, of course, he was the guy that you expected to be the most ready to come up and help this team, especially when you consider the fact Andre Jackson, he dropped off. When Mitchell White, he was traded. Ryan Pepio, he does have the stuff, quote-unquote, when it's on, but great stuff without command is not going to get it done at the big league level. And it's an issue with him. It's the walks, it's the home runs. And when he's giving up home runs, you're seeing today the Yelich one. I mean, you're seeing that he's just not able to command the stuff. And, yeah, I mean, the changeup we know we've heard so much about, and I do think that it's filthy. But, I mean, at this point, I think the jury's still out on Ryan Pepio. I think the fact that he just hasn't found a way to command that changeup. We'll see. I mean, is his future as a starting pitcher, or is it as a bullpen piece? I think if you had to bet on that, I think your money would probably be as a bullpen guy. But, I mean, would you really want him in as a bullpen guy with those command issues, throwing him out there on the mound with runners on base? But like I said, it's still very early in the career of Ryan Pepio. Let's not jump the gun and judge him and act like he's not going to improve, because, look, it's tough, and this organization, they're going to find ways to optimize what he has, to when it comes to his attack plan, to his mechanics. And it's definitely concerning, because his last outing gave up those 2 bombs against the Twins. Tonight, bottom of the first inning, gives up the bomb to Willie Adames, and like I said, slider, he had him down 1-2 on a 1-2 count. He fouls off the 4-seam fastball, and he hits him with a slider just hanging middle of the zone and inner half, and then he ends up just tattooing that one out 389 feet. And then you jump ahead to, and look, there were some positives. I mean, the top of the third, pretty much the entire night, he didn't. He had traffic on. He had traffic on. I mean, you saw the walk to Urias in the second. You saw in the bottom of the third inning. I mean, some of his stuff was filthy. I mean, the changeup that he struck out Yelich with, low and away. That's when you really see the potential. Gave up that double to Tellez, and that one too. Just really, his stuff, his 4-seam fastball, changeup, slider. At times, you'll see it catch too much of the plate. And that was the case tonight on some of the pitches that he was burned. And really no 1, 2, 3 innings, too. So he was working around traffic all night long. And, but, I mean, some of the stuff, I mean, the Carantini strikeout on the bottom of the fourth, you saw that changeup low in the zone. I think I revert to Dontrell Willis when I say live low and live long. I mean, he's got to keep his stuff a little lower in the zone, and you saw him, he was kind of missing up out over the plate at times. So, yeah, I mean, the bullpen got it done. And then you saw the home run to Yelich, too. That was on a 4-seam fastball. Kind of, you know how they like their fastballs. That was definitely in his nitro zone, and he had been really struggling. He was riding an 0-for-27 streak at one point. So, yeah, he definitely has some things he has to work on. And I think the big question now is Bobby Miller. He's just laying down at the minor league level. And I know people are saying he's not ready. I mean, he's 23 years old. Who cares if he's ready? Was Fernando Valenzuela ready? He was 20 years old when he made his first start against the Astros in the 1981 postseason against the Trasterisks. Okay, was Johnny Padres ready against the Yankees when he was 21 years old in 1953 in Game 5? I think this whole thing about Julio Urias when he was 20 when he pitched against the Cubs. Let's take the kid gloves off and stop babying these pitchers, okay? Yes, you might have your rough patches, but when you consider the cushion that they have in the division, I think you owe it to yourself to see what you have with some of these guys that have that top-end talent. Because if you think that this Dodgers pitching staff is figured out and that they really have the advantage, we know the bullpen, they've been stout, but you also have Craig Kimbrel. Now, we'll see. Like I said, I'm not tremendously high on the idea of it, but we'll see how guys return to action. But Danny Duffy, I think they expected him to come back and be a guy who give you multiple innings out of the bullpen. So, hey, look, man, this is all hands-on-deck situation. No one's ever ready. No one's ever ready for anything, and you never know when the star is going to be born. I think one of the big keys, too, is no one has seen Bobby Miller. Opponents haven't seen Bobby Miller. He could be a big mystery to opponents that can make them feel very uncomfortable. Remember when he just absolutely dominated Shohei Ohtani in the spring training game? So, like I said, I'm a little more open to it. D-Mac can back into this comment section, and then we'll continue to break this one down. By the way, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you're watching on Twitter, be sure to retweet the show. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. Even on TikTok, guys. Close playoff games are looking a little scary at this point from Justin over on YouTube. We got Pepio needs more time to get polished up. Moose 1032. Absolutely. You definitely see the potential there because he's absolutely electric when he has it, and he does flash. And to me, that's what I'm looking for from young players. And at bat, where you say, wow, guys out there that have been in this league for years, they can't do that. They can't throw a pitch like that. And that's what you say at times when you're watching Ryan Pepio, and that's why you definitely should not sell all your Ryan Pepio stock as of yet. It's still extremely premature to do that. Ryan Pepio is still at the beginning of his big league career, and at the end of the day, he definitely has that talent, and it's just about harnessing that talent. Sometimes it's a good problem to have when you're so filthy, but his stuff moves so much that it can be an issue at times when it comes to commanding it. But we're talking about a guy heading into this start. He only pitched 20 2/3 innings at the big league level. So tonight he ends up going 4 2/3. So still a work in progress. There's no question about it. So he's going to need a pep talk. And I think part of that pep talk is trying to address the home runs that he's been giving up, is trying to address the command and trying to avoid the heart of the plate. He's got to work those edges a little more and just kind of find that command. And I think the other thing, too, is you see teams sitting on that changeup, and you can tell that teams have scouted him really well at this point. And he had a nice start against the Rockies, but the Twins scouted him well. Tonight, I think the Brewers scouted him well, and you can tell there's certain counts where they know the changeup is coming. And as filthy as it is, big leaguers can they're big leaguers, man. They're the best in the world at what they do, and they can figure it out. But here we go. We got Mr. Classic Pepio did well for a minor leaguer. Just needs more playing time against bad teams, not teams chasing the wild card. Mr. Classic, that's a fantastic point. I mean, if Ryan Pepio was on an organization that like the Rockies or one of these middling teams that is just trying to rebuild, he could be out there every fifth day trying to continue to develop, and at this point maybe be farther along. Who knows? But yeah, it's a great point. He's pitching for the Dodgers, a team that is a World Series or bust team that is playing a team tonight that still is chasing a postseason berth, right? A team that is definitely in the mix and definitely wants to win against a Dodger team that they have gotten owned by in previous seasons. But Urias will be closing in the World Series this year. Tom, no, I don't want to see that. Absolutely not. Julio Urias, don't disrespect Julio Urias. Julio Urias is the Urias. He is the best starting pitcher on the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the best starting pitcher on the Dodgers, you don't want to see closed games because we saw, I think he was absolutely compromised last season when they used him out of the bullpen in Game 2 of the NLCS, and he wasn't the same pitcher. Now, he did throw almost 200 innings last season, 99 cents for my man, 818, drooling face, my man. Got to blame our management. I never liked Roberts, never just, but yeah, you are awesome. Thanks, Rosa. How many pitchers haven't we seen? Henry Vega, he's already effing A. Dwight Gooden, okay, I like that. Urias. Like, getting back to Julio Urias, look, the difference between this season and 2020, he carried the Dodgers out of the bullpen to a World Series. I'll tell you this, period, point blank. Without Julio Urias, the Dodgers are still chasing their first World Series title since 1988. That is how pivotal he was to that postseason run. But the difference this season is with the injury to Walker Buehler, with the uncertainty of Clayton Kershaw's injury, with Tony Gonsolin and Tyler Anderson still being effective, but would they be a Game 1 starter? In my opinion, the answer is no. Julio Urias, when you talk about the mechanical adjustment that he made with his lower body, he's getting more behind that fastball. And you're seeing him touch 96 with consistency, the way he changes eye levels, the way he works that heater up in the zone. When he has that slurve, this guy is one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, and the numbers, they indicate that. He has been a top 10 starter in the league for over the last year. And, yeah, early in the season, I remember some people in the comments saying that I forgot about Danny Duffy. By the way, yes or no, does Danny Duffy really exist? Have you ever seen him in person? I don't know. Strider, hear you. D-Mac, I didn't mind the move. For closer in getting Kimbrel, but I'm losing patience. He can't be our closer. He's a heart attack waiting to happen. Yeah, I mean, cardiac Kimbrel, right? That's what I called him earlier. I called him Mr. Kimbrel's wild ride. I mean, we're kind of running out of things to call him, but David _bruh. I like that, bruh. Doug, Kimbrel's new name is Kimberly until further notice. Hey, man. Gratterall would embrace the closer's role. Yeah, I think Brewstar, I mean, look, he's a very pitch to contact, and yes, he has that triple-digit heat, and a lot of people get caught up in that triple-digit heat of Brewstar Gratterall, and he's continued to work on the cutter, which Kenley Jansen helped him with, and that slider, but he doesn't miss bats like you definitely want to see in a closer, and also he throws strikes, and because he throws strikes, and he doesn't have that. He does those strikes. The ball gets put in play against Brewstar Gratterall. Also doesn't go with that 4-seam fastball. It's a 2-seam fastball. And, yeah, I think at some point maybe you consider it, but I think Brewstar Gratterall is a guy that you want to keep in the role he's at now, and maybe if there's a matchup where you like him in that closer spot. I think the easy decision here is you do play the matchups, but clearly the Dodgers they have not gotten to that point where they're willing to play the matchups to close games. So when it comes to Brewstar Gratterall, you know I call him Brewstar Gratterall. I think the bazooka, if he can stay healthy, has a bright future. But, yeah, I mean, you get caught up in that triple-digit heat. It's almost like when everyone was caught up with the fact that Jamarcus Russell could throw 70 yards from his knees, but he was, not a great quarterback. Brewstar Gratterall is definitely a really, really good reliever, but has not completely figured everything out to the point where I'd be comfortable with him as the Dodgers closer to get the final 3 outs. But Kimbrel is finished from Bravi Feed, Carnivorous Lunar Activity. Loving the fact that we have baseball in November. I'm liking that too. I mean, just why not have baseball 365? Who cares? We got why not bring Miller up and see what he's got? Gary A. Hi, Doug. Thanks for this post-game show. Also, I made a meme about Craig Crumble. Can I send it to your Twitter? Matthew, absolutely. At DMAC_LA. I would love to see. I'll retweet it, man. I can't wait to. Hey, man, you guys know that we're here for the jokes. We're always here for the jokes, man. It's very healing, too. That's how I deal with my pain. I don't know about you guys, but laughter heals all pain, most of it. Strider here, DMAC, that would be a great scenario for Pepio, but no, he's got to play with the best. It can't be against the crappy team. I don't care. That's not how it works. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, look, these guys are big leaguers, and sometimes you got to thrust them into situations where, yeah, the stakes could be a little higher than with other organizations, but the reality is when it comes to also to like getting back to Kimbrel's start today, I think it's the inability to just finish guys off. Just with 2 strikes, you're just looking for one more swing and miss. And like I think the biggest example too, I mean, Caratini, he had him down the hole 1-2 in the count. I mean, 4-seam fastball started off with strike 1, and then he misses high for ball 1. Then on the 3rd pitch, he gets him to look at strike 2 with that knuckle curve. That was a well-executed pitch. Outer half there, or inner half there, but really nice placement on it. And then he misses high with the 4-seam fastball again, and that made it 2-2. And then the 4-seam fastball on the 5th pitch, he hits for a single. So had him down 1-2 in the count, then throws a ball, and on the 5th pitch, he is able to single, and they end up winning the game. But yeah, I mean, even go up early in the game, like I said, you really have to talk about the fact that Joey Gallo's base running blunder, that definitely hurt the Dodgers. And, I mean, look, we got to talk a little bit about – I don't want to be all negative tonight because, look, the reality is Dodgers, they were trailing in this one. They end up coming back, and they take this to extra innings. And what I always say about extra innings, you really need that second run. You really need that second run. You can't just – if you're trading blows and you're basically – you're basically holding serve with that 1 run. You need the 2 runs. You need a little bit of a cushion. But yeah, I mean there are some positives, and the other positive tonight. There's definitely some positives tonight. And we're going to focus on those at the moment. I think top of the 5th inning, first pitch, Joey Gallo, he hits a bomb 363 feet, 4-seam fastball, nitro zone, fastball inner half. He hits a tank, 96-mile-per-hour heater too, so nice to see him get behind one, hit another bomb, his 3rd for the Dodgers. And I think the big takeaway there is Joey Gallo, yes, he did have that base-running blunder later in the game, but Joey Gallo is going to make it very difficult for Edwin Rios to get back in this lineup to have a role for this team. So Dodgers as a team, they hit 3 home runs tonight. You had Mookie Betts homered later in that same inning on a 2-1 pitch. He hit a bomb on a sinker. Inner half, he crushed it 403 feet, and that put the Dodgers up, or at that point, that tied things up. So the Dodgers tied at 2 at that point, and then later in that inning, I mean, they had another opportunity. Freeman, he was able to draw a 2-pitch walk, and then Will Smith, he ends up flying to center. So the Dodgers get 2 runs on 2 hits, 2 home runs there in the 5th inning to tie things up, and you're starting to feel good about the fact the Dodgers have this thing tied. And then bottom of the 5th inning, we know what happened. We talked about it a little bit earlier, a 2-1 count. That's the other thing, too. You see some opposing hitters a lot of times when he's getting into trouble, they put themselves in great hitters counts. And on a 2-1 count, Christian Yelich, he hit an absolute tank, 451 feet off Ryan Pepio, and that made it 3-2 Brewers. And then we jump to the top of the 7th inning. Gallo, he flies sled, but then Chris Taylor, first pitch, 97-mile-per-hour, 4-seam fastball, middle. He hits a tank, 395 feet. And that ties things up once again. So this is a back and forth affair between these two teams. And then you got to talk about later in the game. I mean, how about that catch? That catch by Chris Taylor. You just got to talk about it. I mean, yes, the Dodgers lost tonight, but what an outstanding catch by CT3. I mean, just dives, makes the catch, and that really saved the game for the Dodgers. I mean, let's talk about that. So top of the bottom of the 8th inning, Christian Yelich, he popped to short for the first. That was with Alex Vesia in the game. Don't mess with Vesia. And then Adames, he strikes him out swinging. Really nice sequence. He falls behind 1-0 in the count. And then he gets him with a slider low and away for the first strike, swinging, and then he gets him to foul off another slider, same location, and then he gets him swinging at a slider, bottom of the zone for the second out. And then Vesia, he loses to Les, so he falls behind the count 3-0, and then he throws a slider for a strike, and then he misses with the fastball. And then McCutchen is at the plate, a 1-1 count, and he hits one to center field. That looked like it was going to drop, and it looked like it was going to be bad news for the Dodgers, especially with Tellez on the base pass. And if that rolls to the wall, who knows if he scores on that, but I think it's a pretty solid, decent chance. And yeah, it was just a fantastic catch by Chris Taylor. I saw my friend, he was like, CT3's saves or something, man. I mean, it was awesome. CT3's saves, Chris Taylor. I mean, clutch Taylored. I mean, whatever can you say, Ock Taylor. And we saw what he did in the 2018 postseason, the catch he made with the Julio Urias on the mound, how fantastic that was. But yeah, definitely a positive. And yeah, you definitely want to see the Dodgers slug hitting 3 bombs tonight. That's definitely usually an indication that they're going to win, but wasn't the case tonight because we know Craig crumbled, and that was the case. But guys, thanks for rocking with us here on the Dodgers Nation post-game show. Let's get back into these comments. Hanser for closer. Yeah, Hanser is the answer for closer. Look, they got options, man. You go with Hanser Alberto. You go with Charlie Freeman. He could close. You go with one of the Kershaw kids. They could close. You go with Mookie's mom. She could close. I mean, they definitely have some options. Don't forget, Justin Turner, do yourself a favor and Google Justin Turner's ERA because it's 0.00. He can close. JT for closer. But Christ Taylor, that's from Isaac. Price is right. That's from Edgar Contreras. Yeah, David Price, I think at this point, you got to put some respect on the Cy Young winner's name. David Price is a guy that's quietly, I think he's, look, man, real G's move in silence. Well, David Price, he's definitely put in some serious work. And if you look at what he's been able to do lately, I mean, his ERA in July, he had a 2.70 ERA. His ERA in August before tonight, a 0 ERA. He's given up no runs, has 5 strikeouts and 1 walk in 6 innings of work. And you're seeing a lot of ground ball outs. And the difference between David Price, you're seeing the uses of that fastball. it is as high as it's been in years, and he's trusting that fastball, and it's made a big difference for him. But, yeah, a couple more guys, and we'll get out of here. And I hope you're feeling a little better about this loss. So hopefully we at least broke things down. We got to the bottom of why they lost this one. But, yeah, you can blame it all on Craig Kimbrel, and that's fine with me. But we know, yeah, Joey Gallo's base running blunder. I think the defensive alignment, Muncy behind the bag there, just allowing Renfroe to get that easy leadoff bunt single definitely hurt. But what did Dan Schroeder say? D-Mac's theme song should be Kid Rock's "Ball with the Ball to Bang to Bang." I got my theme song. I'll tell you guys later, but I think I'm going with "Lose Yourself" by Eminem. I think that'd be so fire. Agree Pepio isn't ready. Let's do a couple more comments here, guys. Gallo, time for Henry Vega. Diane, I think you're already playing the drinking game tonight. D-Mac, best in the business. Thanks for post-game after party online. Yeah, Blue Magic. We know that tonight it was frustrating. Tonight we knew that there was going to be a lot of fire and brimstone thrown at Craig Crumble. But, yeah, at the end of the day, this is the Dodgers after party. I call the drinking game Kimbrel's Get You Crumbled. Yeah, the Craig Kimbrel drinking game, guys. Honestly, maybe my theory, too, is maybe Craig Kimbrel has a secret endorsement deal with a beer company or some alcohol companies around L.A. to try to boost their sales. That's possible. You guys never know. Put on that tinfoil hat. CT3 was awesome. I wish he got sodoed. 50% of fire sale on Crumble. One night only from Henry Vega. You guys going ham on Craig Kimbrel. Roberts is a rehab from Camille. Raise your hand if you vote Crumble off this team. That's from Blue Magic. Bellinger half-ass swings. That's from Hummingbird Express. We got You Can't CT3. I like that. Anthony Keene. We got DFA the criminal. Yeah, criminal. He's stealing money, right? Tired of it. Rios will be the 27th man in September. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think, his hamstring basically fell off, man. Christ Taylor from Isaac. We got Price is right. $199 from my friend MM Forever. Eminem Forever. Is that for Max Muncy? Is that for Eminem? Who knows? Gratterall as the closer if Trident is out for the year. $199. Look, at some point you know that this organization has Brewers start Gratterall on a short list of internal options that they could use as a closer. We kind of talked about it. The other thing, too, is his extension just doesn't have a long extension. So his 100-mile-per-hour fastball wouldn't look like it would if it was Kenley Jansen's because that is a shorter extension. But still, I mean, it's pretty wild. He's basically like a cyborg the way he's got that cannon. Mark Pryor for closer. I like that one, Daniel. Phil Bigford from Argent. Coin toss from Henry Vega. Hanser, the dancer. Hold me closer, tiny Hanser. No, I'm playing. Closer by committee from Mr. Slash X. D-Mac for closer, Fernando Jaime. Look, man, if I just take the juice that Fernando Tatis Jr. is on, maybe I get some swing and miss. Maybe I get some quick outs. Phil Bigford, I hope he's watching this. Henry Vega. Let's go down. Phil Bigford for closer. Phil Bigford for closer. That's from Rosemary Phillips for closer. For the postseason, we got Crumble closes, and we're golden. Boomer Assassin is keeping Kimbrel still a thank you for fixing the bus. We got D-Mac should become the closer. Ricky Wild Thing, Vaughn, shaven haircut. Kimbrel, what would your closer song be? And we'll get out of here. D-Mac for closer. Yeah, man, let's make it. Let's get that movement. Sign me a little contract. Let me see if I can get out there and mow guys down. But will Dodgers, Bigford is too iffy. Fire Roberts, you guys want Vaughn. You guys want Ricky Vaughn as your closer. Diane Schroeder, I feel much better now that we dropped a bomb on Crumbles. Yeah, you guys definitely dropped a bomb on Craig Kimbrel. Man, I hope he doesn't see this or any of his family members see this because, you guys definitely went as hard, if not more, than I thought you would. And imagine if that happens in the postseason. It would not be pretty, but I would still be here, guys. I'll take those arrows. Anthony Keene, I think my walkout song would be Look Good by OT Genesis. I like that. Deeper cut. I respect that. Gary Lee for closer. Yeah, my man Gary Lee. D-Mac on the juice. Edgar Contreras. Almonte from Case. Bauer for closer. Do you think Bellinger's situation has to do with the success of Trey's Gallo and CT3? I think they made it clear earlier in the season that they weren't going to just keep Cody Bellinger in center field if he struggles. If they thought he needed a day off, they were going to give him a day off because they still trust his defense. They still need his defense. But you saw Chris Taylor. He made an absolutely outstanding play in center field. And I think that this team is going to be more of a meritocracy this season. I think they're going to play the hot hand. I think that you're going to have to earn your at-bats, and they're not going to just put these guys out there that they've been loyal to over the years. I think that there's going to be a nice level of competition, and I think competition is going to be something that really helps this Dodger team at the end of the day. I think the competition, especially when you've seen them bring in guys like Joey Gallo, you've seen them even flirt with the idea of saving, like I always say, no competition, no progress, right? So I think the competition is definitely going to be a positive thing for this Dodgers team and the guys that are kind of in the back there. But Yagamil33 over on YouTube, D-Mac, do you trust Doc to make the right choices if we went with the closer by committee? That's an interesting question. I do think that, Dave Roberts, just look at the 2019 NLDS versus the Washington Nationals, going with Clayton Kershaw in the spot that he went with him. Just the way he should have used Adam Kolarek versus Soto. The way that Kenta Maeda should have stayed in there longer. The way he pulled Rich Hill. Definitely, if you want to go that route and point to some concrete evidence of Doc just not making the right choice, you definitely have that. But I do think that if they definitely want to pivot to this approach where they are going closer by committee, I definitely think that you'll see a situation where there'll be heavy game planning ahead of time with the analytics department, the baseball operations department, and they're going to be playing matchups. And yes, it will be Dave Roberts' decision at the end of the day, but I do think that it will be a collaborative effort. And I think that, look, at the bottom line, I just think that gives the Dodgers the best chance to win. I truly, absolutely do. And I think that Dave Roberts, he has improved. You haven't heard a lot of Dave Roberts hate over the last few weeks here, few months, and really there's no reason why he shouldn't get Manager of the Year, in my opinion. But here we go. Who do you think would start in the postseason? I'm actually dropping a video on that tomorrow morning, so look out for that. My mom for closer, David_bruh. But yep, guys, that is going to do it for tonight here on the Dodgers Nation postgame show. Like we always like to say here, it's time for Dodger bedtime for everyone around here. But as always, we'll get some more takes here, bottom of the ninth, get some final cuts in here. Swing for the fences if you want. You can get a fire take. You win. I agree. Roberts has improved from Boomer Assassin. Magic Johnson for closer. Hey, man. Could probably flip that pill. Roberts, haters are soft from Trace. If they start drafting for World War III, I hope Craig is first in line. Oof, AB. That one was very vicious, man. But like I said, this is the Dodge Nation postgame show, and the whole idea is to get the pulse of the fan base, and that is how you feel. But a zombie from Army of Dead for closer. Moose, thank you, D-Mac. Appreciate you, bro. Great show as always. Hey, thanks for rocking with us as always, Moose. And all you guys out there, thank you so much. Hey, remember, nothing brings us together like Dodger baseball. And today, it brought us together to just absolutely roast Craig Kimbrel. And, I hope you guys had a good time. And we'll be back at some point this week. Like I said, we're trying to do 4 or 5 shows a week. Hopefully 4, probably the sweet spot. And then anytime something goes crazier, we need to hop onto an emergency show. We'll definitely be doing that. Thanks, Craig Bauer for closer. Anthony Keene, thanks for another one. Dope one. D-Mac, thanks, Anthony Keene. Appreciate you as always. Dodgers Nation postgame show day 1, as is Diane Schroeder. Thanks for making me feel better. D-Mac in the house. Ice Queen, where'd you get that smoking jacket, D-Mac? What? But yeah, thanks as always, guys. See you next time. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Smash that like button. And as always, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
It's time.